Hello guys, Chris here and welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm going to be testing a GeForce RTX 4070 in Forza Horizon 5. This one is the Founders Edition model of the card. We are running it with the latest Nvidia drivers and I'm not manually overclocking it. You can see over in Tech Power-Ups GPU-Z almost all of the GPU specs. Unfortunately, GPU-Z still does not recognize the 4070, but here we have it. 5888 CUDA cores, 12GB of GDDR6X VRAM, and resizable bar is enabled right there. Over on the left, we're pairing it with the i5-13600K as well as 32GB of DDR5 6000MHz in dual channel, and let's get right into it now, shall we? Let's go over the settings first. I'm playing at 1440p. We're also going to test this one at 4K, 8K, and 1080p resolutions. We're using TAA at the moment, which actually looks better than FXAA and MSAA in this game in particular, which is quite weird. And down here, DLSS is turned off, but I'm also going to utilize it. I'm really curious to see that frame generation as well. Over on the graphics settings, I set everything to the maximum, so it's not the extreme graphics preset, it's actually the maximum settings in this game. And it's still achieving a high refresh rate, guys. It's still around 120 frames per second most of the time. It looks phenomenal, this game, with these settings. And mind you, the extreme settings, the default preset, you know, will get you around 20 more FPS than these. So, yeah, instead of 116 on average, we'd be getting 130. But, you know, since the card is quite strong here in Forza Horizon 5 and the game is very well optimized, I chose to max out the game. You can do it absolutely fine. VRAM is also completely enough. So just enjoy those really beautiful visuals. Oh, no. Okay, everything is fine. No, it's not. Oh, there's a rock right there. Oh, I'm messing up already. Nope. No, do not. Okay, it's all good, though. The FPS are actually dropping around here with all of this vegetation. That's interesting to see as well. So this area sometimes is also pretty intensive. The festival. Damn you. Okay, all right. Bastards. Now the jump is gonna suck. It's still a big jump anyways. Let's go. 130s. Not bad. I mean, again, you can get higher FPS by using the extreme settings preset or even the ultra settings preset, which still looks insanely good. But in my opinion, I really like the eye candy in Forza Horizon 5, and I don't really require a super high FPS. 60 is fine for me in this game as long as it's 60 plus all of the time, you know? What you... Oh man, the timing is unreal. Let's go. But you know what is not unreal? The engine. I am very glad it's not using Unreal Engine, because if it was, it would probably stutter a little bit. And since it isn't, it is buttery smooth, basically. Alright, almost in the city area, which is the most intensive one in this game. Especially the tunnel. Oh, I thought we were gonna crash there. Damn it. Alright then. The textures are still looking very good, even though it's a big open world and you are usually driving really fast through it. The textures still look great, and it doesn't consume a heck of a lot of VRAM like The Last of Us. Although maybe The Last of Us is a bit more detailed in the environments and stuff. But anyways, over here in the city, it is not dropping from 100 frames per second, which is nice. And we lost our license plate. No more GT710. No. Oh, I don't like to see that. Anyway, in the tunnel, hundreds. And now getting out of the tunnel is where it drops the most. And it drops into the 80s. That's worst case scenario right there. It will never drop into the 80s aside from those tunnels. And yeah, you can rest assured it's going to be butter. Now, that's how I'd play using a 1440p monitor with the RTX 4070. There's absolutely no need to use DLSS, but I want to see how much of a difference it will make. So DLSS is enabled on quality, still not using... It came on by default, what the hell? Yeah, let's turn off frame generation, and it locked the FPS to 60. Why? What is happening? Why are you messing with things that I am not selecting? Like, the only thing I did was enable DLSS on quality, and it enabled the frame generation as well as 60 FPS cap for some reason. That's weird. Anyways, here we go. So we were getting like 100, 105 FPS here. Now we're getting 120s. That's a nice improvement, 20% improvement or so. And it looks super similar. Damn. The DLSS implementation is actually really good in this game. Back when I tested DLSS when it first came out in Forza Horizon 5, I was not impressed whatsoever. First of all, it didn't make a difference to FPS, like at all, almost. And second, it actually looked way worse. And they have fixed DLSS to a point where it looks so similar to native resolution that I would actually use it. We're back to seeing the entire city from above in just a little bit. Okay, there we go. Let me see like shimmering and stuff. I think there is a little bit of shimmering in the power lines, for example, but it's not really that noticeable, honestly. And to be honest, it was still shimmery using 1440p with TAA anyways. You definitely do not need to use DLSS in this game, but a few extra FPS is alright, right? Getting out of the tunnel, let's see. Back previously it dropped into the 80s, now it dropped into the 90s. Similar drop there by the end of it, but I saw the GPU utilization going down as well, so something weird happens whenever you get out of tunnels, and that's what drops your FPS. But yeah, this is really good. I thought DLSS still looked really bad here in this game, guys. Alright, what about frame generation then? This is, of course, the technology that they push with the RTX 40 series cards. It locked itself to 60 again, didn't it? Yes, it did. What the hell, dude? Okay, so quality DLSS, frame generation, no FPS lock, thank you. And let's see how much of a difference that makes now. Alright, so we went from 120 all the way up to 160 now. And it looks almost the same. Now, oh, okay, I saw that over there. Yeah, for example, like the railings at the distance look a little bit more shimmery than they did previously. Probably because of the frame generation. Well, yeah, it is because of the frame generation, not probably. But like the car itself and the road and even the vegetation look super similar. Maybe a little bit softer now. And in this game, you can't really tell the input lag reduction that comes with DLSS frame generation. First of all, because reflex is enabled and that reduces input lag by a little bit. And second, because the FPS were already really high without FG, so it feels the same, basically. That is good. The implementation of FG in this one is very good. Alright, let's disable all of that, though. And by the way, this is how it looks at native resolution without TAA. Super shimmery, right? I'm gonna enable TAA now. Yeah, that looks way better, doesn't it? For example, right there, it's not shimmery whatsoever anymore with TAA enabled. And now I'm actually gonna utilize some MSAA. But as you can see, 2 times MSAA, it actually performs a little bit better than TAA, and it is still super shimmery. Like right there, you can see a lot of jaggies. You could do like 4 times if you want. I'm only doing this little comparison here, visual comparison, because a lot of people tell me that I'm stupid for using TAA in this game, even though it clearly looks better than any other anti-aliasing method. Still, 4 times MSAA, it's getting around the same FPS as the TAA implementation in this one, and it's still super shimmery. TAA is the way to go, basically, here. And now let's bump it up to 4K resolution. Here we go, 3840 by 2160 with TAA, anti-aliasing, no DLSS, and the maximum settings. Now, at extreme settings, it never dropped from 60 frames per second. But with the maximum settings, what is wrong with that over there? What the hell? That's weird. Okay, anyways, with maximum settings, it might actually drop a little bit. You know what, that's annoying me a little bit, so I'm gonna set that to digital. Alright, that looks better now. No problems there. It was probably like the frame generation that messed it up or something. But yeah, as I was saying, it never dropped from 60 FPS at extreme settings preset and 4K, but here on maximum settings, it might very well drop. Because it was already getting 60s there, so now it should drop. Well, it's only to 59, so no problems. Okay, it looks very good, guys. Like, whew, boy. It is really, really sharp and beautiful in detail at 4K. This game is such a joy to play at 4K resolution on a 42-inch OLED. It's one of the first games that I tried, actually, when I bought this LG C2 TV, and I was just mind-blown by the quality. Anyways, 60s, let's see the entire city from above right now. So sharp, dude. Damn, I can't see a single jagged edge with this TAA implementation, and it's not soft, you know, it's actually sharp. It's beautiful, dude. And it doesn't drop from 60. So yeah, you could actually lock the FPS to 60 and never drop from it. Maybe in like a tunnel or something with a couple of more cars it would drop, but overall it's a really enjoyable experience even with maxed out settings. Now, if DLSS looked so good at 1440p, it will probably look insanely good at 4K. And apparently it gives us around the same FPS as native 4K using the extreme settings instead of the max settings. That's interesting. But now at 4K I can tell a little bit of a difference. At the distance it is not as sharp. There is a little bit more shimmering in those fences. Not right now, but when they're further away from us there was. But yeah, you get the added smoothness of 80 frames per second instead of 60. So if you prefer to not drop ever from 60, well, DLSS is there for you, and it will do just that. It will stay above 60 100% of the time, even in races and stuff. Also, races are usually more intensive than just playing around like we are right now. But the tunnel is more intensive than racing around, so there's that. And it's only slightly more intensive than whenever you are driving through the city anyway, so I prefer to do this. It gives me a little bit more freedom, you know, to do whatever I want, and if I mess up something, well, it's gonna be okay. Anyways, 80 FPS around here, yeah, it is a great experience still, and I doubt you would be able to tell the difference between DLSS on and off in this game if you were playing on like a 32-inch 4K monitor or a 27-inch, 28-inch 4K monitor. I can only tell the difference because this is 42-inch, it's really big. That's what she said. And now let's do the frame generation. I already disabled the FPS lock, and with FG and DLSS quality, damn, this is just... It's really impressive to me that I can hardly tell the difference between this and native resolution or between this and quality DLSS. Yeah, sometimes at the distance things are kind of take a little bit longer to not be smooth looking, basically, to be sharp and detailed. Like right there, for example, it's more shimmery than it was before. But you actually got a pixel peep to tell the difference. And the car itself, as well as the road around us and the vegetation around us, which I thought was gonna be where the frame generation struggles the most, it doesn't struggle. Ooh, that was a little bit of a spike right there. Oh, that's right, frame generation, by the way, utilizes a bit more VRAM whenever you're playing with it enabled. And it starts stuttering a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it was just a one-off. But let's see. I'll keep on driving here through the roads of the city. Getting really good FPS. But you know, it's only like 12 FPS more than DLSS. And DLSS quality already gave us 60 plus 100% of the time. I feel like it is just slightly more stuttery. Like those little spikes in the frame time graph didn't show up previously without DLSS frame generation. So I think we are slightly reaching the VRAM limits here. There's another one right there. Yeah, another one right there. Another one right there. It's kind of weird, you know. Still, it's great that they included this in this game. It's one of the better implementations that I've seen anyways. So let's disable everything now and go down to 1080p before we try it at 8K, because maybe at 8K it's gonna crash, so yeah. 1920 by 1080 is now the resolution, no DLSS, using the same maximum settings. Oh! Okay, of course. Like, this is super pixelated right now because, we aren't using any anti-aliasing. If you disable AA in this game, it kind of doesn't even look like native resolution. It's weird. It's weird. But with TAA, it's top-notch. Look at that. Look at the difference. Wow. Really, really nice now. Very well-defined edges. And now we are at 130s, 140s. Basically getting the same FPS as like 1440p with DLSS Quality, I would say. But it looks worse, especially in my monitor. But again, if you have a 1080p monitor, well, you aren't really going to use 1440p quality DLSS or 1440p resolution. So yeah, it is okay. Honestly, I was expecting it to achieve higher FPS at 1080p resolution after we saw what it's capable of at 1440p. But again, that's probably because I forgot that this game, well, it doesn't really change FPS by all that much whenever you increase resolutions or lower resolutions as well. So yeah, the FPS here at 1080p aren't that far off of what we saw at native 1440. The experience overall is the same, but now we're actually seeing a slight CPU bottleneck here in the city area. Anyways, you know what's great to remove CPU bottlenecks? Frame generation. So I'm gonna try that out right now. Disable the FPS lock. Set this to quality. I'm not gonna test it with quality and no frame generation because there's just no point. We'd get like 20 more FPS and we'd be even more CPU bound in the middle of the city. But with frame generation, we aren't really CPU bound anymore, or we shouldn't be. And it's getting 200 frames per second. That is kind of what I was expecting without frame generation in the first place before I got inside of this game, honestly. But yeah, again, it's maxed out settings, so it's way more intensive, and I'm sure at like ultra settings we would see those 200s at native resolution. Alright, here we go, 94% GPU usage, so yeah, I wouldn't really call that a CPU bottleneck. Still 200 FPS. It's actually pretty crazy, but this is only if somebody goes to your house, for example, and wants to play some Forza. You want to flex on them, you know. See this frame generation stuff right here? Look at my FPS going up. 200. Oh yeah, very good, isn't it? I forgot to see it outside of the tunnel, I think, so let's check it out. Alright, 200 almost here, and dropping down into the 150s. Alright, that's it for 1080p. Lastly, the only thing left to do is, of course, go crazy with that 8K resolution. Turn off the DLSS first. Alright, here we go. This is a bit too small right now, but that's the biggest I can make it be. That's not what... Yeah, okay. That's not accurate to real life, okay? So it's 4320p using the maximum settings. Native res. Oh, you can see that even in the menu, it's already struggling. Oh, boy. Oh, we don't have enough VRAM for this. However, it looks so damn super sharp. And this is without TAA, by the way, because I forgot to enable anti-aliasing, but, you know, who needs any form of anti-aliasing at 8K? This is insanely looking, dude. Damn! Thing is, we have an ace up our sleeves. We have DLSS support here, so I'm gonna set that to performance, which still looks pristine at 8K, alright? It looks better at 8K performance than native 4K usually. No frame generation first, because I think the VRAM is not enough to enable frame generation, but we'll see in just a little bit. Still running out of VRAM, even more, like 15 gigabytes now, what the hell? Now the thing is, you could have a decent 8K experience on lower settings, for sure. I'm actually gonna test that out, you know, after I test the frame generation stuff. Let's try that out. Let's go. DLSS frame generation. Save that. It's worse with frame generation than without frame generation because it consumes so much VRAM with FG enabled that it can't do anything. Holy damn. I'm gonna wait a little bit. Maybe it's still applying stuff, but I doubt it, guys. See what happens when you run out of VRAM. If we had like maybe 16 gigabytes on this GPU, probably you'd need more than that, to be honest, at 8K resolution to enable frame generation and not run out of VRAM. It would have gotten possibly like 40 frames per second or so, but yeah, it's completely full, that frame buffer, so you can't do anything. Alright, we're gonna disable the DLSS altogether here, save that, and I am gonna do like high settings at 8K. That should be doable, right? And I'll need to restart the game for that, so let's go. So again, let's go over the settings, 4320p, no AA or DLSS or anything, and high settings. Oh, now that I think of it, with DLSS, this will look insane and get 60 plus. And yeah, it is really close to 60 FPS right now. Whoa! Obviously, high settings do look a little bit worse than extreme settings or ultra settings, but at least that sharpness, that super high resolution is there. And if that's all you care about, well, it's gonna look insane in that regard. And you know what? There is going to be that one comment saying, Forza doesn't run at native resolution because it looks so much worse without the anti-aliasing. All right, I will enable TAA right now, okay? Let's see. Ooh, 40s. Ooh, is that intensive? Damn. All right. Still, we lost like about 9 FPS or whatever, 8 to 9 FPS. And it is still playable at native 8K. Kind of looks the same, honestly, because it was already really sharp. But yeah, look at that, 49, 50s. That's the power. That's the power of optimization, my friends. It brings a tear to my eye to see a recent or somewhat recent title running so well and looking so good at the same time at 8K. Now, DLSS on performance, again, this still looks insanely good. Let's disable frame generation. It still looks insanely good, performance DLSS at 8K. And it should push it over 60. Huh, interesting. We didn't really get too many more FPS. Oh, it's locked to 60, of course. God damn it, game. That's annoying as hell. Okay, let's see it. Inside of the tunnel, 60s. Still, I was expecting a bigger jump in performance, right? Like, we went from actually native 8K to DLSS Performance. Usually, you'd see a huge jump in FPS, not only like 20 frames or so. Still, this is enough to put us above 60, at least so far. Damn it, get out, thank you. And it looks exactly the same. Like, the pixel density is so high at 8K, even on a 42-inch monitor, that I just can't really tell a difference between DLSS Performance and native 8K. Lastly, finally, frame generation enabled. 8K, performance DLSS and high settings. Oh, it instantly goes up to 12 gigabytes of VRAM usage. Oh my god. Oh, it feels so weird at the moment. Damn, stop car, stop. Thank you. Holy crap, you can see the AI generated frames as well. Oh, this is super interesting. But yeah, at 8K, frame generation just doesn't work properly whatsoever. It's obviously completely unplayable, and it only runs like this because of the lack of VRAM. But yeah, it makes us see the frame-generated frames, which are very interesting. Well, that's been it for this video. This is probably going to give you a headache, so I'm going to stop it right there. Alright, sorry about that. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be back very soon tomorrow with another 4070 video, so stay tuned in for that. And as always, love you all. Bye-bye.